Hi, I'm Colleen Nelson, licensed therapist, trauma expert, and fellow badass woman ready to rise up right alongside you. This podcast, Let the Rest Burn, is for the woman who has ignored, attacked, or even silenced her inner voice because she thought it was broken and needed to be fixed. It's for the woman who is ready to rise up and fully step into her desire, her joy, her full power, and make the impact she was destined to make. For the woman who cannot stand one more second waiting, watching, and witnessing the world crumble, and is ready to rebuild and expand into a better future. For a woman who is so done trying to fix the world, she decided to start with healing herself, and she let the rest burn. Hello, and welcome back for season 2 of Let the Rest Burn with Colleen Nelson. Y'all, I took some time off, and I am so excited to be back with all of you. This podcast is something I have absolutely loved doing, and this year is going to take us in a completely new direction that I think is going to feed my soul and your soul in a way we are all needing. So I created Let the Rest Burn to highlight what it is to live as your full self and what you have to burn in the process to get there. And in my own exploration, my own journey in the last couple of years, I've really dug deep into my personal relationship with myself to find what it is within me that I needed to burn. Not just the external world, but what was happening inside of me that continued to put me back in these circumstances that I knew better, but I just couldn't do better. And so I discovered what you would call my shadows. And I did a lot of shadow work with the help of some incredible coaches, mentors, and therapists. And I have spent the last year cultivating shadow archetypes so that we can all better understand these parts of ourselves that creep up subconsciously and disrupt our ability to live the life we want to live. I want to give them names. I want to talk about them as if they're people inside of us so that we can bring them out into the light of day, find some healing, understand the brokenness, and become fully integrated selves. If you are a fully integrated person, what that means is that things are not as surprising. We're all still surprisable, but you know yourself so well, there is not something that someone else is going to say to you that you don't already know. So you have developed this resilience, this grit, this self-love inside of you that nobody can touch. And this is what I crave for the world, honestly. If we could all wrestle with our shadows just a little bit more, the light that we could bring into the world is exponential. Because true connection comes from the place of our deep inner true self. And because many of these wounds and shadow sides develop because we did not get the love, the connection, the belonging, the experience that we needed, it stops our ability to truly connect with one another and ourselves. So this season, I'm going to be walking through all 12 archetypes, and I'm going to be talking about how they apply to our body, our pleasure, our relationships, our money, our self-work. And I'm going to be digging into each one every week, and I'm super excited to bring you all on this journey. On top of this podcast, I'm also creating a fun archetype quiz to determine which shadow archetype is actually bringing you the most frustration and getting in the way of your conscious self the most. It's always one of them. So stay tuned for some guides, some quizzes, and some more fun activities that we can have. These 12 archetypes are the wounded child, the ultra-independent, the people pleaser, the vigilante, the martyr, the perfectionist, the saboteur, the alpha, the isolationist, the know-it-all, the Scrooge, and the magician. I will be unpacking all of these throughout the year, but what I want you to know is none of them are here to hurt us. In fact, they're created out of a place of fear and control and powerlessness. They're secretly trying to protect us, but they're just going about it in the wrong way. And so I want you to deep dive within yourself and really listen. What are they saying to you? What is their message? Why are they here? And together, we're going to go on a journey of integration throughout the year. We're going to be able to really clear out our nervous system from past experiences and recalibrate it to the present moment. Because oftentimes, the reactions that we have are rooted in a memory from the past that no longer serves us today. So I'm so excited to go on this journey with you. I'm so excited to unpack each of these and to really understand what does it mean to deep dive into your shadow work. So this is my introduction, right? And I want to let you all in on, what this has been like for me so that as we dive into these different components, you know where this is coming from. So last year, I went through quite the year and you all journeyed along with me, but there's some things I didn't share that were behind the scenes that I want to share with you now. I made a commitment to myself to really spend some intimate time with me. I wanted to heal from the inside out so that the relationships I'd be calling in, the clients I'd be calling in, the people in my life would align with the person who is more healed than before. In January, I ended a mastermind with Ashley McDonald. You all heard our podcast before. And I found myself in just a really uncomfortable and yucky place. I didn't like who I'd become, the things I was saying. I felt this very needy, graspy energy. It was like I was chasing everything. I was chasing love. I was chasing money. I was chasing women. I was chasing life that I thought I was going to have. And I was really grieving the life that I do have. It's really tough when I look at the dreams I had as a kiddo and what I wanted in terms of how I wanted to raise my kids and how I wanted to live a family life, the memories I wanted to create. My kids are at such fun ages right now. And I just, I want the world for them and I want to experience that with a partner that can see me and witness me in this space. And it's just not the reality. As wonderful as Mike is as a co-parent, he's still not my partner. And I'm missing that in my life a lot. And so that showed up over the last year tremendously as each of my firsties ended up partnering up by the end of this year, this last year, 2022. I am now the one who is still available. And they've all found incredible love stories, which is inspiring, but also so hard to be on the sidelines for. I've dated, I've experienced, different men and different forms of relationships, but I haven't found anybody that I've really created time and space for. And a lot of that was because this last year was renewing the relationship with myself. I looked back on the last decade of my life and I realized so much time and energy had been placed in developing relationships with others. I had severely neglected my own relationship. My self-care was lacking, my ability to just stay rooted and grounded in my own foundation. The timing, I felt chaotic, messy, kind of all over the place. Granted, I'm always going to have a flavor of that because I am artistic, if you will. But this was just no anchor. There's just no anchor. And I think it was because I was avoiding and I was so afraid of what I was going to find if I stopped for just a second to feel, to acknowledge what was within. And now that I've deep dove into that part of my life, I realized, I was afraid to face these parts of me that had a message. They were trying to talk to me this whole time, and I really didn't want to listen. So they were coming out sideways, right, and hit me over the head. And so after January, I signed up for quite a few retreats. I dove into some mentorship. I took a big, deep breath in terms of just putting myself out there and chasing and chasing and chasing. I had to make some hard choices in my business. I had to shift from one assistant who I adored. back to another who I knew was more aligned with me and who I equally adore, I had to really unpack why I wasn't finding the success I wanted to find. Y'all, I had so many flops this year. I would post something about a masterclass. I'm sure you all saw some of these. And no one would sign up. Like literally no one. And some of these topics were really interesting topics, but I didn't have the energy behind it. I wasn't passionate about it. I wasn't embodying it because I was somewhere else. I was in deep grief and healing, and I just couldn't be the person I wanted to be. Even though I wanted to share these pieces, I had to wait. I had to wait and hold myself and wait and wait. So I went behind the scenes. I created an incredible course with 2 other colleagues called A Blueprint for Divorce, Happier, Healthier, and Wealthier in 90 Days. It is so incredible and something that I'm very proud of. And that took a lot of time and energy and just, passion to put into that. And I launched a ridiculous amount of retreats and so excited to say that Costa Rica sold out and we had the most incredible time. Retreats, I think, are definitely a whole other way of healing, and it transports you, honestly, so far into your healing journey. There's nothing else like it. So I will continue to do that. But along the way, I learned a lot. I didn't manage my time as well as I'd like to at the beginning of the year. So a lot of the time and the effort that I put into some projects and some energy into some relationships really were hard lessons later in the year because I wasn't listening to myself. I was doing what I thought I was supposed to do or what I saw someone else do. And I wasn't tuning into what I actually wanted to talk about, which is this. I want to talk about shadow work. I want to talk about deep diving into the dark and emerging into the light. I love the emergence. I want to see you all in your glory. But let's be clear, Colleen Nelson's very good at walking alongside the fire with you in the dark underworld, and this is just where I belong. And so I walk you out, and we walk through it together. But this is the place where I want to meet you. I want to meet you in the dark. I want to meet you in the shadow. And I want to show you what's possible and what it's like to actually heal these parts of ourselves and feel so loved, because there is nothing quite like the love that I have for myself. I don't think anybody could love me better, honestly. And that is something I want to continue to return to over and over and over again. Can I be the role model? Can my own self-love be the role model for someone to come in and love me this way? Because it just spills over into the other parts of my life. The better I love myself, the better I love my kids, the better I love my friends, the better I love my family. So come along this journey with me. Let's go together. Let's ride this wave. Let's dig deep and let's dive in. So first up is the wounded child. Thank you so much for listening.